All right, students, I know that history board exam's coming up, and the pressure is on. But don't you worry. We are about to break down one of the most important chapters in your syllabus, right here, right now.
So let's just jump right in. This is going to be a super fast revision, and we're going to cover every single high-yield topic you need to know to absolutely nail those questions.
First up, the big one, the Great War. You know for a fact you're going to get a question on what caused it, so let's make it super easy to remember. It all kicks off with this really dangerous idea, aggressive nationalism. Basically, it's when patriotism goes way, way too far. It's the belief that your country is better than everyone else's and that you have the right to dominate them. It's pride twisted into a reason for war.
Okay, for the 4 main causes, you've got to remember this acronym MAIN. Seriously, burn this into your brain. It's militarism, alliances, imperialism, and that nationalism we just talked about. This is your secret weapon for any essay question on the causes of World War I.
Now check this out. This is what militarism looks like in action. You can literally see the arms race happening on this graph. Military spending just exploded, more than tripling in the years right before the war. You don't spend that kind of money unless you're gearing up for a fight.
And here's another classic exam question. Who was on which side? So you have the Triple Alliance, that's Germany and its buddies. And against them, you have the Triple Entente, which is France, Britain, and Russia. These alliances meant that a small conflict could drag everybody in, like a giant tinderbox just waiting for a spark.
Now, at the exact same time all of this is happening in Europe, something massive is exploding inside one of the main countries. We're talking about Russia.
Okay, here's the absolute key thing you have to remember for your exam. Russia didn't just have one revolution in 1917, it had 2. First, the Tsar gets kicked out. Then, a few months later, the communist Bolsheviks, led by this guy Lenin, seize power. And what's the big consequence for World War I? Russia drops out of the war completely.
So what was driving all this? What was the spark? Well, it was the incredible suffering of everyday folks. And you can see it all in their simple, powerful demand, peace and bread. And it was women workers who were right there at the front, leading the protests that would change everything. So, the war ends. But the story doesn't stop there. In fact, the way they tried to make peace, well, it pretty much set the stage for the next global disaster. The Treaty of Versailles was supposed to end all wars, but it was a disaster. Why? Because it was so incredibly harsh on Germany. Think about it. You have to pay a ton of money, you lose your land, you can barely have an army, and you have to take all the blame. It was a recipe for anger and resentment. And this picture, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? That resentment, combined with the U.S. stock market crash in 1929, triggered the Great Depression. We're talking a worldwide economic meltdown that left millions jobless and desperate, like this guy here, forced to sell his car for almost nothing.
So you've got all this anger, all this desperation. It's like the perfect storm for some really extreme, radical ideas to come in and take over.
All right, this is another classic exam question. What's the difference between fascism and communism? I mean, they were both dictatorships, right? Yes, but here's the key. Nazism was all about extreme nationalism and this idea of racial purity. Communism was focused on a global workers' revolution and getting rid of all private property. And in Germany, this is where Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party come in. They just totally exploited people's fears. They promised to make Germany strong again, and they did it by blaming all the country's problems on minorities, especially Jewish people. This led to unimaginable persecution and the horrors of the Holocaust. So when you add it all up, that failed treaty, a weak League of Nations, and these super aggressive fascist countries, another world war wasn't just possible. It was pretty much inevitable. Okay, pencils out. This is a key date you have to remember. The thing that officially kicked off World War II was Hitler's invasion of Poland on September 1st, 1939. That was the last straw for Britain and France, and they declared war. The war ends with something brand new and absolutely terrifying, the atomic bomb. Dropped on 2 Japanese cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it ended the war but also started the nuclear age. Just look at the difference here, the total and complete devastation. The human cost, I mean, the numbers are just mind-boggling. This chart shows that deaths from war in the 20th century just skyrocketed. We're talking over 100 million people. Think about that. That was almost 4.5% of everyone on Earth at the time gone. Okay, deep breath, you've made it.
Now let's do a rapid-fire review. These are the top 10 things you absolutely must know before you walk into that exam. Ready? Let's go. 1. Causes of World War I. Remember, M-A-I-N. 2. The two sides, Triple Alliance versus the Triple Entente. 3. The spark for World War I, assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. 4. The Russian Revolution, Lenin and the Bolsheviks. 5. The flawed peace deal, the Treaty of Versailles. 6. The global economic crisis, the Great Depression. 7. The dictators, Fascism in Italy, Nazism in Germany. 8. The start of World War II, Germany invades Poland in 1939. 9. The end of World War II, the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And 10. What came after? The United Nations was created to try and stop it from ever happening again. Got it? Good.
So, as you're writing your answers, just think about it. This stuff isn't just dusty old history. From the UN to the very map of Europe, the echoes of these wars are all around us, shaping the world we live in right now. You've got this. Now go ace that exam.